I'd like to call this City Council business meeting to order. Today is Wednesday, February 25th, 2006. The time now is 6:05. Can we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, can you please take the roll?
Councilmember Murray,
Present.
Councilmember Kavanaugh,
Present.
Councilmember Hotchkiss,
Present.
Councilmember Matavetsky,
Present.
Councilmember Rathwell,
Present.
Council President Pro Tempore Middleton,
Present.
and Councilmember Dundon is absent. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, we will begin with the minutes from the business meeting on, hold on one second. Oh, thank you. February 11th. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Are there any committees that would like to report?
I think this is the first meeting since the special rules meeting,
Mhm.
right? Okay. So we had a special rules committee meeting relating to redistricting and how it's been done here in Binghamton and how we might want to change it. We had two experts come in, an NYU law professor who specializes in redistricting and a local Binghamton University professor who also has done a lot of work in that topic. We're starting down the path to try and think about how we put better safeguards in to make sure that communities are represented. For some of you, particularly if you live on the south side, your representation changed quite dramatically. The district lines changed quite dramatically. And so that became an interest of mine. The next actual implementation of redistricting won't be, I think, until 2032. So it wouldn't be put into place, which makes it actually a really good time to start looking at putting the safeguards in because we don't have the political context. We don't have all of that. So we can kind of look at it without being under the gun to actually draw lines. That is the hope there. And we kicked off those discussions. The video of the meeting is available on YouTube, and we'll continue to look. One of the topics that came up is that while most cities within New York State have all the decision making relating to the drawing done by the council, there is the exceptions for New York City and Syracuse, where they have an independent group that looks at the redistricting. So I think one of our next steps for that committee will be to see if we can get in touch with folks from Syracuse, particularly, to see how that process worked. And I've reached out to some of the former council members that were involved in the process last time, some of who were quite frustrated with it. So trying to understand our options there, and then eventually, hopefully, take that to a town hall forum to get resident input and how we think about what the most fair way to draw lines. In my district, not only was my district drawn long and skinny, but the area of Saratoga, which is now in the 5th district, which previously was the 6th district, was drawn at the county level into a rural district, despite their predominant needs being transportation. They're now kind of grouped in and will always, until its lines are redrawn again, be represented by people who are unlikely to care about their transportation needs, just the way it's drawn. So there's kind of the stacking issue of city and county and state, right? So yeah, so that's my interest in it, and I'm going to keep driving that forward. Thanks.
So where does that go on there?
The finance committee meeting, right?
So we had a finance committee, city council finance committee meeting on Monday, the topic of which was the proposed new affordable housing project that would be taking the building at One North Depot, buildings at One North Depot Street, and creating approximately 50 units of affordable housing at or below 80% adjusted, area median income. We were specifically discussing the the proposed pilot to make that work, and the community development, community housing development money that the city would possibly be willing to commit to that. We had quite a few stakeholders at that meeting. That's why we didn't do it at a full work session, but the video should be up and available for the public that wishes to have a listen and view about what would be coming down the line there. And then there will be legislation coming hopefully at the next work session business meeting cycle after some questions from council members have been kind of addressed and resolved. So, but feel free to have a look at that public meeting.
The Environmental Commission met.
Oh, go ahead.
I unfortunately got the time wrong because the time got moved, so I didn't make it to the meeting, but I did talk to the chair at the end. I believe they had some discussions about blue bags and equity. I brought up the topic that I've been championing here, and some others have been as well, relating to PFAS and what we're going to do about them in our water. And the chair requested that if council is interested in having the Environmental Commission take a real look at PFAS and different solutions, different municipal governments are doing, that we vote as a body to assign the topic to them to look into it, so they feel they have more of a request than just an individual council member bringing it to their attention. And for context, the City of Binghamton got several $millions in settlement money, like most larger municipalities, because from the chemical companies that have put forever chemicals into our water supplies. This is not unique to Binghamton. This was a class action lawsuit across the whole country. And the question is what to do about this issue now that it's here. And our EPA keeps kind of kicking the ball down in terms of how to actually regulate it at the federal level. The state may take action sooner, but we're kind of a little bit in limbo. There seems to be state money, but we have to kind of queue up for it. And so probably, in my opinion, makes sense to try and get a study going sooner rather than later, so that we can build off of that towards grant money, because it's going to be a lot more than the millions we got to actually fix the problem. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, well, I'll go. So on, I think it was last week, Thursday, we had an MPA meeting regarding RL 26-41. It's a resolution authorizing the agreement of 21CP for the community policing assessment and strategic planning. And it was actually a really good meeting. One of the things that we're worried about and what we want to happen with this is a follow through. So we don't want the company 21CP to come in and do the assessment and tell us what we need done in the police department. What we want also is to have community conversation regarding it, just ways we can make the city of Binghamton better and also make the police department better as a whole, so we could all work together as a community. I think we are going to continue to look at it and see what amendments we would like to put in there. I think, like I said, one of the things we really want to see is after, I think one of my alarms are going off. I think after it's done, we just want to really follow up through and to make sure that we are applying what the recommendations are. So that's what that meeting was about. Anybody else? Okay, so
BLDC.
okay. All right, so we have, we're going to move right along. We have one appointment to make for the Commission of Conservation of the Environment. Luke Day has been reappointed to the last open position in the commission. Okay. Public hearings. We have no public hearings to set for next Wednesday's business meeting. And let's move along to today's public hearing. We have one public hearing tonight regarding RL 26-49. It's a resolution amending the CDBG FY 51 budget. City residents are welcome to speak. You'll each have 5 minutes to discuss this topic. Please note that during the public hearing, you're limited to this topic only. Sorry. If you have any additional comments on other topics, you'll have a chance during our general public comment. And before anyone comes down, Councilmember Rathmel will explain exactly what this is about. Thank you.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Middleton. Just to introduce the first part of our conversation related to community development block grant funding, we had a total of $800,000 in over accrued CDBG funding available to allocate. There are 3 allocation priorities identified by council members, 2 that were identified by Mayor Cram, both totaling $400,000. Council priorities identified $120,000 to sustain warming center operations at the United Presbyterian Church for unsheltered individuals, $180,000 to replace the only elevator at Family Enrichment Network's 249 Washington Street site. It restores accessibility to their Head Start, early childhood education, and reentry programming, and $100,000 to Broome County Urban League to support the rehabilitation of 6 units of affordable housing for families at risk of homelessness. Mayor Cram identified $285,000 for the city to purchase St. Mary's Convent, which is located at 15 Fayette Street, and a plan to lease it to Binghamton University for the hopeful expansion of the Harriet Tubman Center, and $115,000 toward the purchase of 2 emergency response vehicles for the Binghamton Fire Department. Folks are welcome to come down for comment.
Good evening. I had a sudden urge to come down and speak. My name is Tariq Abdelazam.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Um,
And are you a resident?
yes,
Thank you so
resident
much.
homeowner,
Thank you, Tark.
former manager of these funds
Thank you.
many years ago. I just want to commend the council for the months and months and months and months of advocacy that you waged to make sure that these funds are spent consistent with the intent of the federal program. I want to applaud you for holding the line against the mayor's bullying and just incredibly disrespectful actions towards you all, trying to pretend as if you all are against public safety. I know most of this probably doesn't make sense to the people sitting behind me. People that don't care deep, not that you don't care deeply, but that care deeply enough to sit through these meetings, to wade through these packets, to read between the lines, to do additional research, because they have a deep love of our community. But more importantly, because there's incredible need in this community, and you have a deep commitment to ensuring that resources are allocated and policies are implemented in a way that center and prioritize those most vulnerable residents and neighbors in our community. What was fascinating during the budget process, when Fire Chief Gardner, and I appreciated his candor, he's very professional, when he acknowledged that they had applied for much of the equipment that the mayor was asking for in the spring. He stated that on record. And they got the funds, which is what has enabled you all to appropriate these funds to incredible needs in this community. But the mayor spent the entire summer and the fall saying there are no other funds available, even though he knew his fire chief had applied for a different grant. I mean, that's just a liar. I know how this works. He probably just said, just don't tell anyone because you might not get it. This is a way I could score points against this council. And it sucked for many of you. So thank you for enduring that bullshit. Thank you for standing up for the residents in the Family Enrichment Center that are at the UU Church trying not to die because it's cold. So thank you for your advocacy. And I would just say is that something's not working. And I know we have the department head here. And I don't mean this with any disrespect, but something's not working when we have hundreds of thousands of dollars of these funds unspent in the first place. There's over $100,000 appropriated for youth programming that is now going to a fire truck or other things. But like, it should have been spent. Anybody know youth that could have used some youth programming? There's over about 100,000 code enforcement services. Anybody know properties on your block that have code violations? Like something's not working. And I just hope that if it's lack of capacity, I hope you get the capacity needed to make sure that these funds are spent in a timely manner. Because those who are hungry, those who are freezing, those without resources,
You have 1 minute left.
can't wait until HUD says you have a 12-month deadline. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to come up and speak regarding RL 26-49?
Thank you for the opportunity for public comment. My name is Amethyst Rodriguez. I am a PhD candidate at Binghamton University. My husband is also a PhD, seeking his PhD there. We are homeowners at MacArthur. I believe we are in your district, Ms. Rebecca, Commissioner Rebecca. Additionally, we also share an office at the downtown University Center. And additionally, we are also attendees, my husband, myself, our 2-year-old son, and our aging mother, attendees at UPC, our United Presbyterian Church of Binghamton. What I wanted to say to the council is that while the university is what brought both of us here to Binghamton, it is the church and churches like United Presbyterian Church that keeps us grounded. And it is decisions like what city council members like you make to see that the most vulnerable in the community are cared for and ultimately lifted up that would keep us here. And so I wanted to just express my appreciation for supporting the warming center. When I go to that church, my son and my husband and my mother, we greet the people who are benefiting from the warming center. And I think that that is the kind of community, that's the kind of church that I want my son to see. As we all know, there are a lot of different expressions of religion, but the predominant one in the US at this time is Christianity, and there are different versions of Christianity that are pushing different narratives. I like the Christianity that this church is choosing to embrace. And I would like to see more of that in Binghamton. And so that's why I wanted to express my support for your decision for this block grant for the warming center. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, President. Good evening, members of the council. I would like to, not to repeat, but the things that Mr. Abdulazim I'm sorry. Yes, my name is Michael Evransel, and I'm a property owner in Binghamton. And I proudly supported many of you in your campaigns because I believe in strong housing standards and strong code enforcement, like Mr. Abdulazim said. Tonight, as you discuss on how to allocate critical federal funding, I urge you to focus on solving our housing crisis. Binghamton faces a serious shortage of affordable housing. At the same time, we have out-of-state slumlords purchasing properties, neglecting maintenance, and forcing unhealthy living conditions on tenants. Our residents deserve better. Strong, fair enforcement must be part of the solution. Recently, the purpose of code enforcement is clear: to protect public health, safety, maintain housing standards, preserve neighborhoods, and encourage compliance. Enforcement is meant to correct problems, not to punish those who comply. Court action should be the last resort when someone refuses to fix violations. Recently, I received a violation notice the same day I obtained the proper permit, corrected the issue within the time frame provided. Then I contacted code enforcement and requested a reinspection. I offered proof that the work was completed. Instead of verifying the compliance, an automatic court appearance notice was generated after 30 days. This is wrong. I was told that this occurred because Code Enforcement Officer Kyle Monarchy did not notify Code Prosecutor Elizabeth Marie Russo that the work had been completed within the time frame. Before court, I personally informed both of them that everything was fixed. And in court, when the judge asked whether the work was completed, I said yes. But Mr. Russo had not confirmed with Mr. Monarchy even after 3 weeks of time has passed after I told her. After a brief recess, the judge, Elizabeth Marie Russo, was able to confirm that the work had been completed. At this point, the purpose of code enforcement had been achieved. Compliance was complete. Yes, yet instead of dismissing the case, I was asked to pay a fine despite full compliance. Because I refused to admit guilt for something that was corrected within the time frame, this case is now set for a jury trial next month.
You have 1 minute left.
Involving a judge, prosecutor, court staff, and jurors, all funded by taxpayers. This is not efficient government. This does not improve housing. This does not protect tenants. Let's use federal funding to fix what truly needs fixing. Our housing supply, tenant protection, and enforcement procedures, and make Binghamton a model of fair, accountable governance. Fix this issue. Thank you.
I see you have printed notes. You might hand those to the clerk, make her life a little easier, if you don't mind. If you want to submit what you read.
Thank you. Yes. Yes, this is, this is still for RL 26-49. Yes. It is. Yeah, we're still on that public hearing.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I'm Jennifer Lesko. I'm a west side of Binghamton resident, and I'm also the president and CEO of the Broome County Urban League. I just wanted to take a moment to express our gratitude for possibly being considered for some funds to help us with our affordable housing adventure that we've started a couple of years ago. And just as a point, in the last few years, just under the Urban League, we have 22 working families living in hotels because they're making minimum wage or just above, and they can't afford an apartment. But what we're seeing is $400 a week being spent for these hotel stays, which is really a misappropriation of taxpayer dollars. So if we are able to have more affordable housing, especially under the umbrella of nonprofits like the Urban League, we could have folks out of hotels, living in apartments, contributing to the community. And I think it will just make Binghamton a better place, because all of the families we work with, they want to live in an apartment. But when they're making $16.50 or $17 an hour, and the cheapest one bedroom or two bedroom is $1,200 or $1,300, they can't do it. So to be able to offer affordable living and apartments, I think is an absolute win for our community, our families, and our children. So I really appreciate you all taking on this fight. And I know some of the challenges you have taken on have not been easy, but I appreciate your fearlessness and your willingness to give back and really hear from the constituents in your districts to what they want. So thank you.
Would you take 30 seconds and explain the actual project that this 100,000 is going towards?
So right now we have 6 apartments that we are refurbishing, and they will truly be low to moderate income. So this will just help us expand these apartments. This will go to like new fixtures, expanding bathrooms, making them ADA accessible. So all families that need that opportunity can have it. We are looking for some additional funds for another building, not right now, down the road, because we would like to keep doing this, but this money will help us complete 6 apartments. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to speak for RL 26-49? Public comment?
I believe our bond hearing, we
I
left it
ha-
open.
No, we got that. I got it next. I got it. I'm on point.
Good evening.
Evening.
I'm addressing,
First, I'm sorry, can I have your first and last name and if you're a city?
yes, you may. My name is Charles Hunt, Hunt. I live on the south side of Binghamton.
Okay, thank you.
I'm addressing one portion of the community grant 2649, and that is in relation to the $120,000 that's being considered for the United Presbyterian Church on Shenango Street. The proposal, I believe, is for the sustained operation for the UPC for the temporary housing that's being provided. Basically, folks can come in, they can get a cot, they can get a meal, they get a good night's rest, They get a coffee in the morning and then they're gone the next day. This has been maintained by the Up Center, by ACBC, which will be ending its mission at the United Pres Church this coming spring. And the church desires to develop some sort of a formula to continue what this mission has started. And so the funding would provide them with staffing and support, possibly some equipment that would be needed to continue this effort. I currently own 34 Shenango Street. Alexander's Cafe is a landmark if you need to know the location. We're 2 doors away from the United Pres Church, and I witness the homeless people in downtown Binghamton every day. We have a commercial building. It's a 5-story building, and we have public bathrooms, and we have guests coming in off the street frequently, almost daily. We don't complain about that because these folks need a place to go and aren't always welcome in places around town. So I have it in my heart to see that this funding be considered by unanimous consideration for the council. And that's it. If you have any questions for me, otherwise I'm done.
Oh, we don't. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you for your work. Is there anybody else for RL 26-49? I think we have a few comments. No, she's for the general. Okay.
I do. All right. From David J. Holleran, President of the Binghamton Professional Firefighters Local 729. Dear City Council, on behalf of the Binghamton Professional Firefighters Association, IFF Local 729, we write to express our full support for the City of Binghamton's effort to reallocate CDBG funding for the purchase of 2 new emergency response med cars. The demand for high-quality emergency medical response continues to grow in our city, and our med cars are essential tools for delivering rapid, effective care. These vehicles allow trained firefighters, paramedics to respond quickly to medical calls, alleviate pressure on the broader EMS system, and provide life-saving interventions within minutes. The use of these funds will allow both the CDBG program and the fire department collectively service and support residents of low-income families. We appreciate your consideration and urge approval of this critical equipment request. If you have any questions, please feel free to call. From Nathan Rayboy. Dear Binghamton City Council members, my name is Nathan Rayboy. I am a longtime resident of the City of Binghamton living at 6 Chestnut Street. I'm writing to strongly urge you to vote to approve the proposed award of $120,000 to the United Presbyterian Church of Binghamton to continue operating their overnight center. I very much applaud the City Council for proposing this award. For too long, too many communities, including Binghamton, have sought to manage the houseless population only by pushing them out of public spaces so that they remain unseen. I strongly believe there are better, more humane ways to manage this population, all of which revolve around ways to take care of their basic needs. Providing a safe, dry, warm place for them to sleep overnight, especially in winter, but really all year round, is a very important first step. I understand that this grant is only a temporary fix to the future loss of funding from ACBC, but that doesn't diminish its importance. I am fully in favor of your approval of this award, and I hope it will be followed by further efforts to provide shelter or even better long-term, affordable, or even free for those who need it housing, again, as part of an important first step. I hope that the city will then go on to consider other important programs that will enhance the safety and dignity of this part of our population. Thank you for your consideration. From Suzanne Northrup. Dear Binghamton City Council members, my name is Suzanne Northrup and I am a resident of Binghamton. I wholeheartedly support the proposed Community Development Block Grant Award of $120,000 to the United Presbyterian Church of Binghamton to continue the overnight center operations. I have recently participated in volunteering at the overnight center's weekend shelter and know this is a great benefit to Binghamton's homeless population. I think of the quote that the greatness of a nation can be judged by how it treats its weakest members. To give shelter to the homeless is the right thing to do, and I urge you to support this block grant to the United Presbyterian Church of Binghamton. Thank you.
Thank you, Clerk. If there's no more discussion, do I have a motion to close the hearing? I have a motion in a second. It was Hadassah. Sorry, Councilmember Matavetsky, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. We do have a public hearing open for the bond hearing. Does anyone have any it was left over from last week's meeting. Does anybody have a public comment regarding the bond hearing? You can come on down right now. If there's no more
No comment.
no comments regarding? Okay. There's no more discussion. Do I have a motion to close the public hearing regarding the bond hearing?
I motion to close the bond hearing.
I have
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. All right, now we move on to public comment. Please come down to the microphone to introduce yourself by first name and indicate if you live and work in the city of Binghamton. Each speaker has 5 minutes to address the city council on city issues.
Good evening, Tarek Abdelzam, resident, City of Binghamton. So there's been a pattern the last few years, well, I'd say under this mayor, of critical funds going unspent. Community development, housing funds, those that can help our most vulnerable. Or hopefully you will resolve tonight the allocation of 800,000 that have gone unspent from the Community Development Block Grant from the federal HUD program. There was a race to spend 1+ million in ESG. Now I'm forgetting home recovery, home CV dollars towards the end of last year. And I'm just taking this moment to say I hope that you all are asking the administration to audit on a monthly basis the expenditures of the ARPA dollars. We've already passed the deadline of allocation in December 2024 of the 46 million that the city of Binghamton received in post-pandemic. And this December, all those funds must be spent. I know that there's some efforts to help remove some unnecessary barriers to expenditures, particularly in the context of our housing crisis, where the Southern Door Community Land Trust, the first Black-led affordable housing organization that's committed to producing permanent and deeply affordable housing, is the only affordable housing agency that received a special provision in their contract when they were awarded funds, because you all fought for them, that made them reach a certain goal, 70–80% of the funds to complete the project before they could touch $1. It's the only organization that received ARPA dollars for affordable housing that had to overcome this unnecessary hurdle. I don't know if the administration is aware of what the term equity means, but they clearly don't, because this is expressly inequitable. Those funds could have been already started with a third of the affordable housing project, 6 units. And they recently got 500,000 from Senator Leah Webb that is reimbursable. So they could have used the ARPA dollars as their line of credit, as their cash flow. But again, Mayor Cram, for over a year, has put this provision in place. I also just want to say I care deeply about the executive director and her recovery. She suffered a medical event in which the doctor still couldn't discern what that was. And I've told others it's because racism doesn't show up on a goddamn MRI or CAT scan. I hope that you all can continue to work with the Southern Door Community Land Trust and with the mayor's office and whoever he puts in charge of this project to ensure that we can get 6 permanent, deeply affordable housing units done by the end of this year. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment? Deb, do you want to speak? No.
Good evening, council members. My name is Deborah Hogan, proud and passionate member of Center City. I spoke with you at the last meeting. Some of you were not present, but I hope you were able to view the YouTube video. Before you have tonight almost a biblical type of decision in that the Reverend Dr. Wilson brought forth a resolution last June to change or have the consideration to change the name of Columbus Park. As discussed at our last meeting, we spoke of having a town council. Everyone here, we do have a new member of council who wasn't, but hopefully you were able to review that. And it was really a great discussion. And I really had a wonderful conversation with Council Member Hodgkin yesterday in talking about the things that are so special around Columbus Park. And if I read the materials originally submitted, I believe this is the 4th name for Columbus Park. This would be a 5th name change. There are so many things that are special about Columbus Park. 2 of the projects that I forgot to mention last time, in addition to the mosaics, the bathhouse, the garden at front, we were the first handicap accessible playground in the city before Rec Park under Mayor Bucci. We were also the first spray park in the city of Binghamton, advocated by residents and then Council Member Webb, now our senator. And I believe that was under Mayor David. When it spoke an article in the initial resolution, it was an article dating back to Wednesday, May 5th, 1959, where it announced the new name of Columbus Park. The names then considered were Central Park, Central City Park, Mid-City Park. The students, pupils of St. Mary's, as well as Columbus School, were able to vote on that. As the members that are here before you, you're not residents of Center City. Even our council person is not a resident of Center City. Would it not be equitable to have voting by the residents for and if a need for changing the park's name? Do we have issues? I've been in the trenches. Tarek knows that deeply. Are we looking a bit dusty right now? Yes. Do we need a polish? Yes. But I don't think we need a name change to our park. Maybe that's to come, but not now. Let's start with helping to make Center City and our Columbus Park great.
You have just under a minute left.
the idea that was presented at the town meeting at St. Mary's was cubes or history boards to show the various invested parties over the years. I think that would be a wonderful Columbus Park. So I respectfully submit once again that at this time, we do not rename the park. Thank you very much for your kind consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to come down for public comment? Okay, we'll have the clerk read in the emails that were sent in.
From Salka Valerio. Dear council members, I am urging you to vote in favor of renaming Columbus Park to Center City Park. Christopher Columbus does not represent the values of the Binghamton we are working to build. His legacy is tied to violence, exploitation, and the suffering of Indigenous people. Honoring him in the heart of our city sends a message that we are unwilling to fully reckon with that history. Binghamton has an opportunity through the Reimagining Center City initiative to create a downtown that reflects inclusion, truth, and growth. Renaming the park is not about erasing history. It is about choosing what we uplift in our shared public spaces. Our park should reflect unity, belonging, and a future that honors all communities. Center City Park would represent who we are striving to be, a city committed to fairness, healing, and respect for all. I strongly encourage you to support this resolution. Sincerely, Salka Valerio. From Dana Mastronardi, President of the Sons of Italy, Binghamton Lodge number 487. Dear council members, I'm writing on behalf of the Sons of Italy Lodge number 487 in Binghamton, New York, to communicate our position regarding the proposed renaming of Columbus Park. We appreciate the opportunity to contribute to this discussion. The Lodge acknowledges the various points raised during the MPA Council meeting in November 2025. However, we do not agree with the conclusions drawn from the solicited community input providing during the town hall that is being used to support the proposed name change. To be clear, we strongly disagree and condemn the proposal concerning the renaming of Columbus Park. Our stance is directly informed by the sentiments of the broader community, as evidenced and supported by the poll commissioned by the town hall sponsors, which indicated that 54% of respondents disagreed with a name change. This supports the premise that the majority of community members do not support changing the park's longstanding name. We urge the council to reconsider the renaming in light of community opposition and prioritize unity over division. As we are a community stakeholder less than a block from Columbus Park, we request that the Binghamton Lodge be kept informed regarding any future decisions and discussions concerning the renaming of Columbus Park and Center City proposals. Thank you for your time and consideration. Sincerely, Dana Mastronardi. From Thomas Tadino. Dear council members, I am writing to strongly urge you not to move forward with any proposal to change the name of Columbus Park. This park is far more than a geographic marker or a line on a map. It is a living symbol of the deep multi-generational Italian heritage that helped build and shape our community. For decades, Columbus Park has served as a gathering place for families, cultural celebrations, and neighborhood traditions that reflect the contributions of Italian Americans to our city. Its name carries historical, cultural, and emotional significance that cannot be replaced by a simple rebranding. Changing it would not only erase a meaningful part of our shared identity, but it would also send an unintended message that the history of an entire community can be set aside without consideration. It is equally important to recognize that Columbus Park has long been a gathering place for all cultures within our community. It is a shared welcoming space where people of every background come together, celebrate, and connect. Preserving its name honors the Italian-American legacy while continuing to embrace the diversity that strengthens our city. Maintaining the name Columbus Park is about honoring the people who came before us, the immigrants who worked tirelessly, raised families here, and helped create the vibrant community we enjoy today. It is about respecting the cultural fabric that makes our city unique. I respectfully ask the council to recognize the importance of this heritage and maintain the name Columbus Park as a tribute to the Italian-American community and its lasting impact. Thank you for your time, your service, and your thoughtful consideration of this matter. Sincerely, Thomas. From Reverend Dr. Demond Wilson, President of the NAACP, Broome Tioga Branch number 2135. Dear council members, as you get ready to vote on renaming Columbus Park, I encourage you to look over the attached articles about the Sherman Place Clearance Project. This month marks 70 years since the project forced 150 families to leave their homes and disrupted local businesses and places of worship, including Trinity AME Zion. The Binghamton Housing Authority initiated this project to meet state requirements, and it was the first step towards building Columbus Park and a new highway cutting through the 7th Ward. Even after all these years, the clearance project continues to affect Binghamton's most vulnerable residents by erasing the neighborhood's history and sense of belonging. By voting to rename the park, you can help recognize those whose lives were changed by the relocation and support a new effort that honors their stories and brings resources back to uplift low-income families instead of pushing them out. One of the biggest and most lasting effects of the Sherman Place clearance project was the displacement of residents. Countless Binghamton families who had to move struggled to find affordable housing, leading to overcrowding and public housing problems, difficulty getting around, and greater financial stress. Although residents from Sherman Place were directed to Saratoga Terrace and Carlisle Hills apartments, with the promise of another public housing project that never materialized, the loss of their close community ties also weakened the support systems people depended on for childcare, jobs, emotional support, and religious life. Over time, these changes have led to ongoing economic inequality and residential segregation in Binghamton. While today's redevelopment plans aim to be more inclusive, the effects of past displacement continue to shape the city's decisions on gentrification, housing justice, and fair urban planning. The Reimagining Center City initiative gives Binghamton a chance to examine downtown living more fairly. I hope that when the initiative begins, a community task force will be created to study the area and suggest how resources can best meet residents' needs. What started as a plan to remove residents can still be turned into a project that allows community members to come together for better outcomes for everyone. It has taken Binghamton 70 years to truly address the harm caused by the Sherman Place clearance project, but I believe our community can come together in new and positive ways, starting with your vote. In solidarity, Reverend Wilson.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone who spoke tonight. Now we will move on to our second reading legislation. First, we have introductory ordinance O26-18, an ordinance to rename the Columbus Park as Center City Park considered in municipal affairs. Councilmember Rathmel, can you introduce the motion?
I absolutely can. May I first introduce a motion to move CDBG 51 amendment up to the top of second read?
Yeah, it has to be in.
So we're past being able to motion to
Yeah,
change
yeah,
that.
it has to be in second read. It has to be in second read. That's the first read.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what
No,
I meant. The
that's
top
okay.
of second read. So the motion has to be during second read?
So is the motion to take it out of order?
Yeah.
You can make the motion now to move it to the top of first read legislation. We done? Okay, so yes, we'll have to wait till first read and then we'll take it out of order then.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay. Thank you. So yes, I'd like to make a motion to adopt introductory ordinance O26-18, an ordinance to rename Columbus Park as Center City Park.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Sure. I'd like to, just for context for folks watching and involved, read the context of the legislation or the content, excuse me, of the legislation. And first represent that this proposal was first introduced 8 months ago, originally with the explicit intention to identify a name that more inclusively reflects the full heritage and legacy of Binghamton's historic center city. The conversation this council has had in the last 8 months is in addition to many community conversations that were initiated by other groups prior to council's town hall, the introduction of this in June, the town hall in the fall, MPA committee meetings in November. And I do just want to note, because it was mentioned in public comment, at the town hall, a survey was discussed that represented a targeted engagement effort with the residents who access Center City, who access the park specifically, Of the respondents of that survey, 62% were Binghamton residents, 79% were in favor of a name change at Columbus Park. The top three options included in that name change, 2 were names representative of an alternative heritage, and 1 was focused on being place-based, location-based. Much of the conversation that we had at the MPA committee meeting in November centered around how isolating a single name and a single heritage in the renaming would not serve the full purpose of inclusive and full representation. What we wrote into this legislation to represent its passage and its intent is that council is currently, with this name change, launching a Reimagining Center City community engagement campaign to solicit resident input on the future of the neighborhood, including its public spaces, infrastructure, and quality of life, in collaboration with local organizations, educational institutions, and regional partners. Also, whereas renaming Columbus Park as Center City Park recognizes the full historical breadth of the neighborhood, avoiding privileging a single narrative over others and establishing a neutral, inclusive foundation for ongoing community engagement and redevelopment efforts. So it's exactly that effort that we're looking forward to with the launch of this rename.
I'll speak before you speak, Councilor Medavetsky. To me, I just wanted to say, like, I want to thank every single person who has sent an email to me, and I think everyone, your opinion matters, and it is good to have discussions, even uncomfortable discussions, because that's how you find out a new perspective. To me, and I've told every single person, I honestly do not care about the name change. What I care about is making sure that we are taking care of the people that live in Center City, and that we are doing right by them. So I know there are some people who are here, they're upset. They may be upset, or they may be happy about the name change, but the main issue is making sure that we are taking care of the people of Binghamton. And that's what I think the goal is for council. Like, we want to make sure that we are doing our due diligence and taking care of Center City. Like Deb Hogan stated, there are some things that need to be done. And if we can start by bringing some attention to these issues, this might be it. So thank you.
Let's see. So, one of the things that's not, clear in this text, but if you go back to the November meeting, we talked about, as part of the reimagining, making sure the different groups that have long-standing connections to the region be engaged in figuring out how they want their heritage presented within the park. I know I was explicit that if the Italian community would like to work towards talking about the history of being called Columbus Park, why they care about the name Columbus, how that relates to their experience as Italian immigrants and descendants of Italian immigrants, that I would fully support them being represented how they want to be represented. Similarly, for the Black community, that so kind of alluded to here, that the actual Freedom Trail came through there, right? This is a major, holy ground, basically, I think, for America. And so making sure that community is able to be represented and have their heritage represented. We have to the fact that the Jewish community used to be in that neighborhood as well. So working with my synagogue and the Jewish Federation and different groups to try and figure out how we want the history of the Jewish immigrant experience to Binghamton to be represented, and all of that being it being a yes and situation and not a shut it down kind of situation. So those that was kind of the discussion that came out back in November. And of course, all of these things will take money and figuring things out, trying to, see what we can do about next year's budget. Probably we'll have to engage with some sort of group that does studies, right? We're Councilman Rathmel and I are both engaged with the work for Conklin Ave. They're creating a plan for Conklin Ave. Similarly, I think for next year, we're going to have to push to have in the budget something to have planning and engagement for that center city to really take it to the next level. Of course, we're going to start with this launch now, right? We're not going to stop the work and wait for those things to come to be, but there's a lot of steps that need to take place. And while this name is very neutral name, I think it removes a barrier to funding and engagement that I'm already seeing groups that are agreeing to come to the table to do community cleanups and different things. But a lot of groups are, while there's a controversy around the name, not wanting to be active and involved, and that's a problem. So I think that's made the kind of the name change a necessary thing to do, even though it feels like a sometimes a kind of a frustrating use of time. It is important to get the work done that we need to get done. And from my perspective, I think that with a nice neutral name like this, we can kick the can down the road to rename it again in the future if there are at the end of the reimagining process, when we've actually put the money in and invested, and having the community having that kind of a vote, kind of a situation, figure out what the park feels like once it's actually been reimagined, once it has in my mind, what I would like, I'm just saying what I would like to see, all this historical content in there. Had discussions about the idea of collecting some of the stories that we heard at the town hall, doing like a place-based app where you can actually hear about people's lives. I remember there's a story that came up in I think in the November meeting about picking grapes. So we had stories about learning ice hockey, all sorts. I mean, the stories that were coming out were fabulous. And for me, when I'm thinking about like, where would I like to see this go? That's what I'm would like to see. And then I feel like at the end of that, there may be a name that comes to you, just like when you have a baby and you look at the baby, the name might not be the name that you had in mind before you saw the baby. So that's my perspective.
Yeah. So I guess for starters, I just appreciate the level of input and engagement that has happened at our town halls and various meetings on the topic of Columbus Park and Center City neighborhood. I think I'd be remiss to like not mention that we're on the tail end of Black History Month, and I think this is like an exact kind of history that exemplifies why you need there to be Black History Month, because there's been, I was totally unaware of the Sherman clearing project that brought about Columbus Park to begin with. And I think that's not something that is shared often, or is not local history that is often recognized. And I don't think that we really capture the history of the Black experience in Binghamton by naming the park Columbus Park, and it overlooks the multitude of different ethnic heritages that have passed through that neighborhood. So I think it's been a learning experience for me, and I think a lot of other folks, and I hope this whole process brings light to some of the sort of lost history, lost local history, or the history that we're all just uncovering and learning for the first time. But I'm really committed to stemming some revitalization in that neighborhood, because I think that's ultimately what everybody really wants to see, is to have a vibrant neighborhood that everybody can be proud of. And I'm hoping that we can begin that process by renaming Center City Park. So that's all. Thank you.
I just want to echo those sentiments. So I also appreciate the input and hearing from the community on the various perspectives. You know, what's standing out for me is that the conversation about the name doesn't stop the work, right? There's so much that needs to happen after this decision. A name does matter, right? It can either pull people together or discourage folks from being a part of something. So I definitely think that, you know, the decision to have a name that is inclusive of all folks is important, right? And not just a name that represents one group over another. And so what I am looking forward to, though, is the conversation that comes along with this process, right? Continuing to engage our community and talk about what is needed and how we can continue to pour into and support residents, and making sure that whatever resource is needed will be available. And so, you know, this has been a lot of conversations, a lot of, you know, hearing various perspectives. And, you know, I just really want to thank our residents for being committed and willing to share their perspective in all of the work that council has done to make sure that, you know, we have provided the space for folks to share and have conversation as a community about this. But I just want to encourage folks that, you know, whether or not council is voting the way that you want them to, right, there's an opportunity here to really think about the park in a holistic way, right? A name matters, but a location is also more than just a name.
I think I could be verifiably described as kind of a history nut from a very young age. And it's something that has stuck with me, developed and stuck with me my whole life. So I have, I think, a lot of respect for the inertia in the names of things, and the having them there as a way to, as a gateway to access all of these stories, all of this history, all of the things that have come before. I was in Savannah a couple of months ago, and the history of each of their squares and each of the names of those squares that are traced back in the development, it's so rich, and it's so much a fabric of that community, and it's something that was really deliberately developed through their whole history. Columbus Park, as it's now known, is, and as one of the speakers earlier said, is now, this would be its fourth or fifth iteration of naming. So what would cause me to look at that and say, why should we do that? What is the time? Why? I think we have to step back and think of ourselves, each of us, as citizens of our community, as stewards for a little while of our homes and our neighborhoods and our city. And as city council members, I think we're folks that took a step forward and say, hey, we want to take the time and the effort to, and the stones and arrows occasionally to look at and make these decisions as stewards of our city. I have tremendous respect for the generations of folks that have lived in the Center City neighborhood and developed it in many different ways over the decades. And certainly the Italian community that was the core of that community, maybe going back 60, 70 years ago now, and built institutions like St. Mary's, although it was Irish first. Nobody mentioned the Irish among all of this anyway. Built up St. Mary's, built up Sons of Italy, the Abruzzi Club, took care of homes in that neighborhood for a long time, had such wonderful experiences and built memories and that we got to hear about during the town hall process, and that we've had a number of people send in comments, and I've gotten stopped almost daily by somebody in the comments about the park over the last few months. And those folks are still around, and it's hard to look at all of that memory and all that living history and say, wait a minute. But we also need to look at the folks that are mostly living there now and the folks that are using and growing up in that area now. And what role should we be taking as stewards looking forward for the next 10, 20, 30 years? We have long memories here in Binghamton. There's still folks that go on about North High and Central High, and they miss their Central High School Bulldogs. We have, my parents would have talked about Broome Tech. I say BCC, and now it's SUNY Broome. There's evolution in our community. There's evolution about how we think about things, how we approach things and consider things. And if we talk about giving, go back and repeat the process that was done in the 50s and let the school kids take another stab at naming the park. Well, St. Mary's is gone now as far as a school, and Columbus School is not an elementary school anymore. The kids that living in Center City don't go to school right there anymore. It's very different. So I really think, and this is hard. I struggled with this. As stewards, I think we need to give the neighborhood a chance to grow a new identity or a slightly different identity. And I think it is not a bad way to do that, to take the name back to a place-based name, a more neutral name, because it has been a sore spot for a lot of members of our community. It's something we shouldn't be having a lot of strife for, I don't think. And I was not, and I'm not thrilled that we are necessarily dealing with this at the beginning of a process that is looking to put significant time, resources, and attention to the park and to Center City. But the physical manifestations of a lot of this effort are a few years down the way, probably, because government moves, let's say, at a deliberate pace. And this would really be the beginning of that pace. So I also think it's wrong to ignore so many vocal members of a community that still have such roots in the community and that have clearly put decades of heart into Center City. So I was searching and thinking and considering for a way, how can we respect the legacy of the Italian community in the neighborhood and the name Columbus in the neighborhood. And now I'm going to go off on a side. Sorry. There's a great Smithsonian Magazine article I'm happy to share with anyone that likes it on the rise of the name Columbus well before it was before it was championed by the Italian Americans only, and the creation of the whole idea of Columbia, as in the District of Columbia, as in the character of Columbia, is that whole adoption of Columbus as one of really our first national heroes. It was, we wanted a non-English discoverer of America, so John Cabot wouldn't work. And we kind of raised up Columbus in a lot of ways. And anyway, fascinating history. Happy to share. But back to how we can kind of, I think, preserve the kernel of that. And was really thinking about this, really struggling with this last couple of weeks. And Monday, I realized that there is a street that runs up to the ball field at Columbus. It is currently named Columbus Park East. If this name change happens, that name will be a little odd. It's right behind the recreation center that's now again a legacy of the Italian community to the city in selling that to the city, and runs right up to the baseball field at Columbus now. I would like to, my idea, to go to some of the community members that have reached out and have been a force here and propose, again, off the top of my head here, propose renaming that street to something like Columbus Place, to recognize the role of the Italian community in that area and the history of Columbus Park, and maintaining at least a kernel of that identity in that street that leads up to the park. So I will pursue that in the next week, and maybe have some legislation for that at the next meeting, as a way to something to immediately, without a lot of capital funding, immediately available, to recognize, the core of that neighborhood for many years and that identity for many years. I think it allows us to hopefully recognize that and yet return the greater park to a more neutral way to grow in the future.
Any other discussion? Okay, clerk, can you please take the roll?
Councilmember Rathmel. Aye. Councilmember Matavetsky.
Aye.
Councilmember Hotchkiss.
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Councilmember Murray.
Aye.
Councilmember Dunn is absent. Council President Pro Tem Middleton. Thank you. That is 6-0.
Thank you. Next, we will have introductory ordinance 26-19, an ordinance to amend the bond ordinance for Marabito Stadium considered in finance. Councilmember Kavanaugh.
I'd like to motion to adopt O2619, an ordinance to end the bond ordinance for Marabito Stadium.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
So this is, since this is, I'll give a little overview, since this has been a while since we've discussed this. Essentially, we are refinancing this bond, given changes to the useful life of the items that we're bonded for. We can extend the bond a little bit and get a little bit better, save a little money, essentially, in doing this. And it, in kind of solidarity with our philosophy of paying for things over the useful life of those things, this kind of makes that match up, and again, saves us a little money. So I would propose you vote for the refinance.
Okay.
One additional comment as it relates to seeker. So the underlying project was a type 2 action, which basically means that there's no environmental impacts under state statute for seeker. Obviously, this isn't changing any of the scope of the project. It's purely changing the years. But it's just to put in the record that there's no implications under seeker for this.
Any other discussion? Clerk, can you please take the roll?
Councilmember Rathmel. Aye. Councilmember Matavetsky.
Aye.
Councilmember Hotchkiss.
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Councilmember Murray.
Aye.
Councilmember Dunn is absent. Council President Pro Tem Middleton.
Aye.
Thank you. That is 6-0.
Thank you. Next, we have introductory ordinance O26-20, an ordinance to adopt the 2026 bond ordinance considered in finance. Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Thank you. I'd like to motion to adopt O2620, an ordinance to adopt the 2026 bond ordinance.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion?
We do need to do seeker for this one.
Okay.
It's a type 2. So all we have to do is declare lead agency and declare type 2.
Okay.
No further actions required.
Sounds good. So we motion and seconded, right? All right. So, all right, very well. I'd like to motion to declare Binghamton City Council the lead agency for seeker purposes for the bond ordinance.
I'll second.
And I'd like to motion to, do we have to vote on that? All right.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Clerk, can you please take the roll? Do we do discussion on that or not?
If there is discussion.
Is there any discussion on that? Okay, clerk, can you please take the roll?
Councilmember Rathmel? Aye. Councilmember Matavetsky?
Aye.
Councilmember Hotchkiss?
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh?
Aye.
Councilmember Murray? Councilmember Dunn is absent. Council President Pro Tem Middleton.
Aye.
Thank you. That is 6-0.
I'd like to motion that as lead agency, City Council recognize that this is a type 2 action under seeker with no significant impacts, right? That's the significance.
Yes,
Yeah.
no significant
Right.
impact.
No significant impacts.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Clerk, can you please take the roll?
Councilmember Rathmel? Aye. Councilmember Matavetsky?
Aye.
Councilmember Hotchkiss?
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh?
Aye.
Councilmember Murray?
Aye.
Councilmember Dunn is absent. Council President
Aye.
Pro Tem Middleton. Thank you. That is 6-0.
All right, just reminder to the viewing public, this is an authorization to bond for the items in the capital improvement plan for this year. The total capital improvement plan is $444,440. I'm sorry, 400. I wish it was 440. Sorry, $44,444,750. We also anticipate receiving grant funding in the amount of $18,938,000, which is a significant chunk of that. What we bond for again are things that the city will use over a long period of time. The bedrock of that being our sewer lines, water lines, reconstruction for streets, things that have life in decades. And we also are some of our major revitalization projects, including Clinton Street reconstruction, Shenango Street reconstruction. We are the Memorial Bridge design stuff that we're going to discuss later tonight. The funding for that improvement project is in the bond for this year. And then the other major component is equipment that we that lasts for generally a decade plus. So some a large fire truck, the Quint fire truck, street sweeper, plows and dump trucks, garbage trucks, etc. So this is an authorization to borrow that. The money doesn't actually get borrowed until those projects are coming up, and then the comptroller will go out and use this authorization and hopefully find us some of the best rates available. Knock on wood. And that's then we repay them over time.
Anybody else? Clerk, can you please take the roll?
Councilmember Rathmel? Aye. Councilmember Matavetsky?
Aye.
Councilmember Hotchkiss?
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh?
Aye.
Councilmember Murray?
Aye.
Councilmember Dunn is absent. Council President Pro Tem Middleton.
Aye.
Thank you. That is 6-0.
Thank you. Next, we have introductory ordinance 26-02, a resolution to authorize the MOU with RHC for the Blue Buffers program considered in planning with Councilmember Rathmel.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Middleton. I'd like to adopt introductory resolution R2602, a resolution to authorize an MOU with RHC for Blue Buffers program.
I'll second.
So folks had some questions, right? Or concerns on
I think we,
public.
Can I
for-
do a quick, just like
Oh,
what
sorry,
it
yeah.
is? No, that's okay. Just for context, the authorization itself, the Blue Buffers voluntary buyout program is a state-initiated, state-administered fund, program opportunity for flood-impacted and flood-at-risk properties and parcels. The majority that were identified within the city of Binghamton are split between the First Ward, South Side, East, with some on the east side. As well, there are a handful of residential properties impacted on South Side East, several residential properties identified in the first ward. So the content of our questions, as was indicated, was concerning the impact of this buyout program, not only on the integrity of the neighborhoods, if property owners opt in to receive that buyout payment, but if there are residential properties where owners are renting and have tenants occupying those properties, how would the impact be mitigated? Councilmember Hotchkiss, do you want to share? Do you want me to break down the additional conversations?
Sure. I had a conversation with the state rep at RHC. And I guess what I wanted out of the conversation and got was a really strong commitment to helping any tenants that are displaced in this process. If there's landlords that take the buyout and the tenants are left high and dry and it's very hard to find a place, that there's actually support, and built into the program there is some funding for like 6 months of rental assistance. But the state is willing to partner with local organizations with experience in basically relocating tenants and helping them find a place to stay. That was a big concern of mine. Another piece I think was just the how this is like communicated and what it does to property values of folks that are still there. And I think the theory behind this whole thing is that these are the most flood prone areas, or it's better to kind of address this issue before there's a crisis or like a major flooding event. If we can predictably guess that this is going to be an impacted area, it's better to make these actions prior to being in crisis mode. So I guess I understand the philosophy behind everything, and my concerns were addressed. But
Okay. Clerk, anybody else for discussion?
Yeah, we got like blue buffers, like number units to try and understand the impact. I don't know if we brought them into the discussion last time, but so for the Shenango River buffer first ward, that's an estimated 8 to 24 units lost, estimated 5 to 15 rental units lost. That's a subset of that 8 to 24. And for east side and south side, it's an estimated 5 to 15 units lost. And of that, 1 to 4 rental units lost is what's just to give a sense of the scope of what we're talking about. And again, it's an optional program. It's people that may otherwise have trouble selling and moving because of the flood risks where they are living. So it would unstick people that might be looking for options to get out.
Okay. Clerk, can you please take the roll?
Councilmember Rathmel?
Aye.
Councilmember Matavetsky? Councilmember Hotchkiss?
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh?
Aye.
Councilmember Murray?
Aye.
Councilmember Dunn is absent. Council President
Aye.
Pro Tem Middleton. Thank you. That is 6-0.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to first read legislation with introductory ordinance.
Could I make a motion
Oh,
to?
yes, now you can.
Thank you. Could I make a motion to amend the agenda to move introductory ordinance 026-24, an ordinance to amend the FY51 CDBG and ESG budget to the top of first read legislation, please?
second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion regarding the switch and the roll? Okay, clerk, can you please take the roll, please?
Councilmember Rathmel?
Aye.
Councilmember Matavetsky? Councilmember Hotchkiss?
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh?
Aye.
Councilmember Murray?
Aye.
Councilmember Dunn is absent. Council President Pro Tem Middleton. Okay, thank you. That is 6-0.
Okay, so we are going to start with ordinance 026-24, an ordinance to amend the FY 51 CDBG and ESG budget considered in finance with Councilmember Kavanaugh.
All right. It's my pleasure to motion to adopt 026-24, an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 51 CDBG and ESG budgets.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion regarding this?
I mean, we had a little bit of discussion just before the hearing, but it's so I don't have anything to fill in other than refer back to the public hearing. But anyone else want to?
No, I just want to say, good job to everyone who's worked on this. I think this is really important and to make sure that we are really helping the city and helping the people in Binghamton. So if we don't have any other comments, clerk, can you please call the roll?
Yeah, quick
Oh,
comment.
sorry.
Just want to thank and acknowledge everybody that worked on it. I think that whole plan got reconfigured about 3 to 4 times before we could arrive at a final conclusion. So shout out to Councilmember Rathmel.
Councilmember Rathmel. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Rathmel. Aye. Councilmember Matavetsky.
Aye.
Councilmember Hotchkiss.
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Councilmember Murray.
Aye.
Councilmember Dunn is absent. Council President Pro Tem Middleton. Thank you. That is 6-0.
Thank you. Now we will move on to, introductory 026-21. It's ordinance to amend the 2025 golf budget for over budget items considered in finance. Councilmember Kavanaugh.
I'd like to motion to adopt 026-21, an ordinance to amend the 2025 golf budget for over budget items.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
So there's some transfers here just from budget line to budget line in the golf fund itself. And then the second section is transfers that are other transfers, some of which offset themselves and some don't. Ultimately, if you look through the lines, some of the expenses are kind of twinned with increases in revenue. So we have increased food and beverage expense of $20,000 against $30,000 increase in revenue. I'm sorry, $37,000 increase in food and beverage revenue, $21,000 almost increase in pro shop merch expenses, and then a $30,000 increase in pro shop sales. So we have some things that our expenses are increasing, but then our revenues are increasing, in excess of those, which is good. That's what you want to see with something that's in theory sort of a business. Not everything is quite like that, though. We do have some operational expenses that are increased beyond extra income, although somewhat offset. So we have some additional operational expenses, partially offset by increased driving range and clinics being delivered. So some offset, but not quite all of it. So in the end, we're taking approximately, $60,000, a little over $60,000 from our sales tax revenue, which is in excess of what was originally budgeted for sales tax revenue, and applying it to keep the golf fund in good shape. We've usually been running a little over $100,000 in shortfall every year, so this would appear to be an improvement on that. Getting to I think the goal is always to get to zero, net neutral with the golf course. I don't know that we'll ever quite get there, but I think a $60,000 expenditure at the end of the year is not too much for the city to be contributing to such a significant amenity that the city is able to offer our residents.
Anybody else? Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Rathmel is absent. Councilmember Matavetsky.
Aye.
Councilmember Hotchkiss.
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Councilmember Murray.
Aye.
Councilmember Dunn is also absent. Council President
Aye.
Pro Tem Middleton. Thank you. That's 6-0.
Thank you. Next up, we have introductory ordinance 026-22, an ordinance to.
Excuse me, 5-0 for the record.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. We have ordinance to amend 2025 BJCTS STF budget to increase the local system costs and decrease personal service Maintenance agreement considered in finance with Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Thanks. I'd like to motion to adopt 026. Wait, did we just say there's a problem with that? 25, right?
I'll
No,
second.
22.
22. There it is. There
Great.
it is. Sorry, right. I'm there. All right. Motion to adopt 02622, in order to amend the 2025 sewage treatment budget to increase local system costs and decrease personnel services and the maintenance agreement lines.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion?
Sure. So this is, if you remember back, this is amending the sewage treatment plant budget to essentially pay the city back for our local system costs. So work the city does on pipes and stuff that go to the treatment plant. So work we do on our end of things that's actually funded by the sewage treatment plant. So we're kind of giving the funding mechanisms to pay ourselves back for work that we've done on our end of the system. But the money goes to the treatment plant first and then back. So this is our portion of doing that process.
Any other discussion? Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmembers Dunn and Rathmiller are absent. Councilmember Matavetsky.
Aye.
Councilmember Hotchkiss.
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Councilmember Murray.
Aye.
Council President Pro Tem Middleton.
Aye.
Thank you. It is 5-0.
Thank you. Next up, we have ordinance 026-23, an ordinance to amend the 2025 general fund budget for over budget items considered in finance with Councilmember Kavanaugh.
I'd like to motion to adopt 02623, an ordinance to amend 2025 general fund budget for over budget items.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion?
So the comptroller came down to discuss these. The most significant one is the increase in health insurance expenses. We have several city is self-insured. We have several high cost claims that are also some of them likely ongoing. We've made some adjustments to our stop loss insurance this year now, in anticipation of some of these increased costs. But it is still a $500,000 expense line increase just for that. And again, fortunately, we have ample sales tax revenue to cover that shortfall. So 511,000 is coming in to cover these small gap, the small gaps and the big insurance gap.
Okay.
This is all still tidying up 2020.
This is all 2025. And if Chuck sends any more down, I'm gonna have a discussion. Because we're at that March point now, so really everything should be in.
Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmembers Dunn and Rathmiller are absent. Councilmember Matavetsky.
Aye.
Councilmember Hotchkiss.
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Councilmember Murray.
Aye.
Council President Pro Tem Middleton.
Aye.
Thank you. That is 5-0.
Thank you. Next up, we have ordinance 026-25, an ordinance to amend the 2026 police budget to add 2 temporary officers considered in municipal and public affairs. Councilmember Matavetsky, can you introduce that?
I'd like to make a motion to introduce. Where was it? Introductory ordinance 026-25, an ordinance to amend the 2026 police budget to add 2 temporary officers.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, so basically this would increase the total number of officers by 2. It's a temporary fix because we have some known upcoming retirements, and in order to have replacements come in, the timeline of the academy and the hiring process, we need to bump it up higher now, but it will be back down to the original target amount relatively swiftly. And it is our understanding that the funds will come out of the police budget.
Okay.
It's right. So in order for we cross our fingers that everyone will successfully get through the academy, but it is unlikely that everyone will successfully get through the police academy. So this should be cost neutral because we won't actually ever have 147 officers serving full time. But if we do, that's a good problem. We can figure it out, but it's unlikely.
Okay.
It won't happen because because of when the retirements happen, like even if we got everyone through the academy, the positions would still open up from the flip from probation
Yeah.
to full officer.
Yeah, it's a shuffling things around situation, not,
Right.
Right,
And
not
legal
an
authorization, we're authorized at 145. So, yeah.
Okay. Clerk, can you please take the roll?
Councilmembers Dunn and Rathmel are absent. Councilmember Matavetsky.
aye.
Councilmember Hotchkiss.
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh. Councilmember Murray.
Aye.
Council President
Aye.
Pro Tem Middleton. Thank you. That is 6-0.
Thank you. Next up, we have ordinance 026-26.
5-0. I'm so sorry.
Okay. We have 026-26, excuse me, an ordinance to amend the 2026 DPW capital fund budget for streetlights and poles considered in finance. Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Yes, I'd like to motion to adopt 02626, an ordinance to amend the 2026. Let me see that a few more times. DPW capital fund for streetlights and poles.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah. So this was a little shocking at work session. We have some significant immediate needs for electrical work on light poles. That's a safety issue, an infrastructure issue, even a cosmetic issue. And we are currently short an electrician to do that work in-house. So we need to outsource it and get these safety issues resolved. And that's the majority of this funding. The other part of this funding is a little bit of innovation from our Public Works acting Public Works Commissioner Josh Paludi to address what happens when a street light goes out and we can't immediately get it repaired. So we're bringing in we're trialing some solar streetlight head replacements that can be brought in quickly and get an area lit back up when it needs to be. So that's something we're trying out, a little bit of innovative thinking, a little bit of a way to address immediate needs. So that's I'm looking forward to seeing how that turns out.
Long-term plan or a discussion that was had related to how do we fill the vacancy of the electrician? Just curious.
We did not have an in-depth discussion at work session on that. I mean, I think it's something everyone in the room recognized as a priority. It's something DPW feels, feels every day of their operations. Yeah. But yes, I mean, if we want to have more conversations, I absolutely suggest we do because it's a needed position.
Okay. Clerk, can you please take the roll?
Councilmembers Dunn and Rathmel are absent. Councilmember Matavetsky.
Aye.
Councilmember Hotchkiss.
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Councilmember Murray.
Aye.
Council President Pro Tem Middleton.
Aye.
Thank you. That is 5-0.
Thank you. Next up, we have introductory 026-27, an ordinance to amend the 2026 general fund budget for grant matching funds considered in finance with Councilmember Kavanaugh.
I'd like to motion to adopt 02627, an ordinance to amend the 2026 general fund budget for the grant matching funds. This is for the Binghamton Plaza Planning Study.
Second.
A motion and a second. Discussion?
Yeah, this is our part of matching the grant funds for self-explanatory Binghamton Plaza Development Study. So fortunately, we're not having to take on this expense all by ourselves. We're getting some help and trying to figure out what to do with the place.
Okay. And you're making an amendment to this?
Oh, is this the one? Yes, this is the one. Sorry, I got the whole
It's
list.
okay.
I got All right, sorry about that. I even wrote it on my agenda. I had to amend this. All right. So right now, okay, I motion to strike section 1 in its entirety and replace it with the following. Section 1, that the comptroller and city treasurer of the city of Binghamton are hereby authorized and directed to amend the 2026 general fund budget for grant match funding as follows. 1, $75,000 increase in revenue line H42210 point or dot X0005 titled General Services Other Governments. 2, $150,000 increase in expense line H6989.55555.X005 Binghamton Plaza Planning Study. 3, $75,000 increase in revenue line H.45031 interfund revenue. 4, $75,000 increase in expense line M9901.55000 interfund transfer. And finally, 5, $75,000 increase in revenue line M.49999 fund balance.
We have
Second.
Thank you.
a motion and a second as amended. Take a roll, correct? Discussion?
No.
On the- Okay. Any discussion? Okay,
So we're voting on the amendment, right?
yes. Clerk?
Yeah, I mean, did you want to explain why it needed to be amended?
Oh, yeah, it's, I mean, essentially it was just not in here. We didn't have the correct revenue and expense lines. That's all. It just had if you look at the original, it just had.
It just
Had
has
the-
the expense line
yeah.
where we're spending now.
It didn't have the amount or the proper inflows and outflows.
On
so-
all the budget transfer information was on the RL that was submitted.
So it just made it in the packet wrong, right? It didn't. Yeah.
Okay, clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmembers Dunn and Rathmel are absent. Councilmember Matavetsky.
Aye.
Councilmember Hotchkiss.
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Councilmember Murray.
Aye.
Council President Pro Tem Middleton.
Aye.
Thank you. That is 5-0.
Thank you. Next up, we are going to.
Pass that as
Oh,
amended.
yes, we're going to vote on the motion as amended. Clerk, can you please take a roll?
Councilmembers Dunn and Rathmel are absent. Councilmember Matavetsky.
Aye.
Councilmember Hotchkiss.
Any discussion?
I'm sorry, if anyone, I just remembered that. Does anyone have any discussion regarding the amendment? Okay. Do you want?
So we've got an aye from Councilmember Matavetsky, an aye from Councilmember Hotchkiss, Councilmember Kavanaugh,
Aye.
Councilmember Murray,
Aye.
Council President Pro Tem Middleton.
Aye.
Thank you. That is 5-0.
Okay, thank you. We can move on to our next ordinance. It is it's an introductory resolution for R 26-23, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the New York State Department of Transportation for Memorial Bridge deck replacement and streetscape design considered in Public Works. Councilmember Hotchkiss, can you introduce this motion?
Making a quick correction that it's 13, not 23.
Oh, I don't know why I said, thank you so much, 13.
Make a motion to adopt introductory resolution R 26-13 considered in Public Works. This is a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into agreement with the New York State Department of Transportation for Memorial Bridge deck replacement and streetscape design.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion?
So this is the city's part of kind of hooking in our piece of infrastructure, which is the Memorial Street Bridge, and tying that into the larger 363 redevelopment project that is currently underway. So that's all.
Okay. Any other discussion? Clerk, can you please take the roll?
Councilmembers Dundon and Rathmiller absent. Councilmember Matavetsky. Councilmember Hotchkiss.
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Councilmember Murray.
Aye.
Council President Pro Tem Middleton.
Aye.
Thank you. That is 5-0.
Thank you. Next up, we have introductory resolution R26-14, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter in an agreement with Colliers Engineering for the Memorial Bridge design considered in Public Works and Parks. Councilmember Hotchkiss, can you introduce this?
Yep. Make a motion to adopt introductory resolution R26-14. It's a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter an agreement with Colliers Engineering for Memorial Bridge design.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second? Motion and a second. Any discussion?
So this is similar to the last resolution, but it's just contracting with Colliers Engineering to continue the design work for the Memorial Bridge.
Okay. Do you have something to say?
I just, this, I presume, went through the bid process and all that.
My understanding is that they had started this many years ago.
Yes, so this did go out, I believe, for RFPs. And then based off of that work, that's how we got the New York State funding that backs all this. So that's why like the numbers line up between this resolution and the previous one.
Okay. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmembers Rathmiller and Dundon are absent. Councilmember Matavetsky.
Aye.
Councilmember Hotchkiss.
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Councilmember Murray.
Aye.
Council President Pro
Aye.
Tem Middleton. Thank you. That is 5-0.
Thank you so much. Next we have introductory resolution R26-15, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to accept $50,000 from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, NSP planning grant considered in Public Works. Councilmember Hotchkiss.
Make a motion to adopt introductory resolution R26-15. This is a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to accept $50,000 from New York State Department of Environmental Conservation NSP planning grant.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
So the next three are all in relation to accepting this grant from the state. And I'm assuming we, for some reason, had to have three separate resolutions, even though we're putting it all in the same budget line.
There are three separate grants for three separate pieces of the larger project.
Okay,
Okay,
so be it.
cool. Any other discussion?
No, although I will ask Chuck whether it's, I'm sure he can handle it, but whether we should keep them in three separate lines. But
So this first one that we're approving is specifically for Chamberlain Creek, that redesign for crossing improvements.
Yes, one's crossing improvements, one's green infrastructure, one's the stream bank stabilization. And this is all gonna get rolled in. So in the bond, we approved the Chamberlain Creek reconstruction work and that as well, the $575,000 amount. So this grant will actually get applied towards that as part of like a larger package of funding that's all going towards this. So when I talked with Chuck, he was comfortable with having this all be in the same line.
okay.
Okay. We don't have any more discussion. Clerk, can you please take the roll?
Councilmembers Dundon and Rathmiller are absent. Councilmember Matavetsky.
Aye.
Councilmember Hotchkiss.
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Councilmember Murray.
Aye.
Council President Pro Tem Middleton.
Aye.
Thank you. It is 5-0.
Thank you. Next up, we have introductory resolution R26-16, a resolution authorizing the mayor and his designee to accept $50,000 from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, NSP planning grant considered in Public Works and Parks. Councilmember Hotchkiss.
Make a motion to adopt introductory resolution R26-16, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to accept $50,000 from the New York State Department of Conservation NSP planning grant.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
This resolution is part of the green infrastructure portion of this project.
Okay. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmembers Dundon and Rathmiller are absent. Councilmember Matavetsky.
Aye.
Councilmember Hotchkiss.
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Councilmember Murray.
Aye.
Council President Pro Tem Middleton.
Aye.
Thank you. That is 5-0.
Thank you. Next up, we have introductory resolution R26-17, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to accept $50,000 for the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, NSP planning grant considered in Public Works and Parks. Councilmember Hotchkiss.
Make a motion to adopt introductory resolution R26-17, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to accept $50,000 from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation NSP planning grant.
I have a first. Do I have a second? First and second. Any discussion?
All right, this final piece is for the stream bank stabilization.
Okay. We don't have any other discussion. Clerk, can you please take the roll?
Councilmembers Rathmiller and Dundon are absent. Councilmember Matavetsky.
Aye.
Councilmember Hotchkiss.
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Councilmember Murray.
Aye.
Council President Pro Tem Middleton.
Aye.
Thank you. That is 5-0.
Thank you. Okay, now we can move on to communication from council. And tonight we are going to start with District 5, Councilmember Matavetsky.
All right. The Discovery Center has its pre-admission night on March 6th from 4 to 6:30 p.m. I mentioned last time that there's Ross Park Zoo is now going to have a community advisory board, and I've joined that. Our meeting is next week, so if you are interested in suggesting ideas, particularly my constituents, but anyone who's interested in Ross Park, please feel free to reach out to me in the next couple of days, and I'll try and look at your ideas and share them in the inaugural committee meeting. And apologies to the Southside neighborhood attendees that I wasn't able to make it this past month. I was out with the flu, and I didn't want to spread it. But I do always regret not being able to attend. So I will do my best to be there next month. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilmember Hotchkiss.
No communication tonight.
Thank you. We'll go on to Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Next weekend is the first weekend of March, and that means Parade Day in Binghamton. The 3rd District welcomes folks from all over the city and the county for a wonderful celebration of Irish heritage. So everyone have a safe and enjoyable Parade Day, and we'll see you out there in the trenches.
Thank you. Councilmember Murray, sorry.
No, you're fine. So, first word of residents, I just want to encourage folks that if you've reached out to me and you have not heard back, please be patient. I've been out for a few weeks due to illness, and I'm making my way through emails and doing my best to get back to folks timely. So if there's something urgent that's needed, feel free to send me another email so it makes its way to the top of my inbox. So I just wanted to share that with first ward residents. That's it.
Thank you. And I guess
I had one thing that came up thinking about Parade Day. The pre and post fire union parties, I believe, are both at celebrations on Park in District 5. So when you get tired of District 3, continue the party or kick off the party in District 5. Check I think the fire department Facebook page or the fire union Facebook page should have more info, or send me an email.
Thank you. Okay, I guess it's up to me. On tomorrow, February 26th, we will have our West Side neighborhood meeting. Special guests will be Mayor Cram. So come on out and discuss any issues or ideas you might have in the city of Binghamton. I just want to kind of, just as Councilmember Murray was saying, I have been out for the last 2 weeks. So if there is something that is needed, please reach out to me again. I'm not ignoring anyone on that. One last thing, it is February and it is the best month in the world, February, to be born like me. But it's also Black History Month. This year, we are celebrating 100 years of Black History Month. And even though we are celebrating 100 years, we still have a lot of work to go. When I think about Black History Month, I think about my grandmother, who was an activist and a Black Panther. And one of the things that she always kept in my mind and always made me think about was being Black. And I was like, Grandma, why, why do I have to, be proud? And she said, be proud to be Black, because when you're in rooms, they will always remind you that you are a Black woman. So I always think about that, being Black and proud. So happy Black History Month to everyone. And if nobody has anything else, I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.